Hello, how are you? Today I'm going to make a wonderful dessert recipe for you, a pie that looks like it came from a restaurant. It's low in carbohydrates, contains no flour at all, no sugar, no wheat flour, no gluten. You're going to love it. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss it. If you love easy, quick, and healthy recipes, you're going to love this channel. Take the opportunity to subscribe here and remember to activate the notification bell to receive updates. There are new videos every day and you're going to love them. Let's get started with our recipe. Remember, the ingredients, their quantities, and the nutritional information, as always, will be listed below in the description and in the first pinned comment. So, the first thing I'm going to do here is take the eggs. I'm just going to give them a quick mix, breaking up the yolks with the whites. It doesn't need to be beaten too much because I'll be mixing in other ingredients later. It's just to combine the yolk and the white. Remember, I have a video where I talk more about what happens if you eat eggs every day and whether eggs raise cholesterol. I have videos where I talk more about the low-carb diet, how to do low-carb on a budget, how to make low-carb sustainable, and a playlist covering different types of low-carb, ketogenic, carb cycling. I'll leave all of that down below in the description for you. Now, I'm going to add the sweetener. It needs to be a sweetener that's stable for baking and cooking because we're going to bake this. So we dissolve the sweetener here first. I have videos here on the channel about xylitol, stevia, and erythritol. If you don't want to make this recipe low carb and you want to add brown sugar, honey, or demerara sugar, you can, but you already know that you'll be adding calories, adding carbohydrates, and it will be completely different from what we're proposing here. But in terms of working out, the recipe does work and you would use the same amount if you wanted to. I'm going to add just a little bit of coconut oil here. Give it a stir. And if you love these healthy dessert recipes, low-carb sweets, give it a like so I know you enjoy them, and I'll come back and make more recipes like this too. Now I'm going to add the ground peanuts. You just need to blend them in a blender. And I'm using raw peanuts so it doesn't have that strong peanut flavor. When we use roasted peanuts, it gives that distinct peanut taste to the recipes. But when we use raw peanuts, the flavor is more neutral, similar to almond flour. In fact, if you want to use almond flour here, that works too. But usually, peanuts are cheaper. So I brought this option for us to make the pie even more affordable. Let's mix everything together well. Tell me, by the way, which one would you use? Are you going to make it with peanuts or almonds? Or do you have another suggestion? And now, lastly, we add the finely shredded coconut. I'm using dried coconut here. Always check the label to make sure you're buying unsweetened shredded coconut because that's important for our recipe. So, let's mix everything together well until we get the right consistency. If you want to use fresh coconut here, if it's more available where you live, you can absolutely use fresh coconut as well. It will work just the same. So look, we've already made our dough here. Now I'm going to get my baking pan because the first thing I'm going to do is pre-bake this dough and then we'll add the filling. I'll get the baking pan and explain how. Look, so I grabbed my pan here and it happens to be one of those with a removable side. So I put this parchment paper here to make things easier and I greased it with coconut oil. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of those collapsible forms. In fact, if you have any tempered glass baking dish that's oven safe, you can use that and then serve it right in the glass dish, which also looks really nice. So look, I have our baking pan here and I have the dough. I'm going to put the dough in here. And then we're going to line the bottom and bring it up a bit to form the sides. So that's what I'm doing here. Let me use a spoon, it's easier. Just to show you here, I'll add the rest later, but we start by putting it in like this and then bringing it up the sides. If you want to use your hands, that's fine too. Just do whatever you find easier when making it. And we keep pressing it up until the surface is smooth here. And after I finish lining it here, I'll come back to show you how it turned out. Hold on. Look, in the end, I just used my finger like this to gently smooth out the edge, kind of like we usually do when finishing off any pie or tart crust. Now I'm going to put it in the oven to bake at 360 degrees. When I come back, I'll tell you how long it took and we'll make the filling. So hang on. So our crust is already baked and has cooled down. You need to wait for it to cool before filling it. It took about 20 to 25 minutes to bake. You can decide how golden you want it to be, but after 20 minutes it should be well cooked, and then you can choose the color you want for the crust. I'll set it aside here, and now I'm going to get my coconut milk. Remember, I have a video here on the channel teaching how to make homemade coconut milk. If you want, you can check it out to see how it's made, or if you prefer to use bottled coconut milk, that's fine too. Just make sure it doesn't have any added sugar. And I'm going to add the unflavored colorless gelatin here, no taste, nothing. just that neutral gelatin used for cooking. Remember, gelatin is pure collagen. So it's really worth adding more of it to our daily routine for your skin, nails, hair, and joints. I'm going to let this hydrate now. It's okay if it's a bit lumpy like this because I'll put it in the microwave 30 seconds at a time until it becomes completely liquid. If you prefer, you can also use a double boiler. I'm going to melt this gelatin and be right back to finish the cream. I've already melted my gelatin here, and while I was at it, I went ahead and grabbed the other ingredients we'll need. But I'm going to add the gelatin at the end because if you add it now, it starts to set, so it's better to leave it for last. Now I'm going to add the natural yogurt. I'm using the non-fat kind, but you can use whichever you prefer, as long as it's a good quality yogurt. Even if you decide to buy the yogurt, you can use it, as long as it has few ingredients. Ideally, it should only have milk and lactic culture to be considered a good quality yogurt. I have a video here on the channel where I talk more about this, and even a video showing how to make your own yogurt at home. I'll leave the link down below in the description. Let's sweeten this with a non-caloric sweetener. I'm using a baking sweetener mainly as a substitute for those who might want to use brown sugar, honey, or demerara sugar. Because since this isn't going to be heated or cooked, you don't necessarily have to use a baking sweetener. You could use any type of sweetener, even the liquid drop kind, if you prefer. Now I'll add the passion fruit juice. The smell is already amazing. You can add any juice you like, lemon or even chopped strawberries, pineapple. Tell me, which fruit would you use to make this delicious treat? And if you like these kinds of desserts, go ahead and give it a like to help me out. Now let's add our melted coconut milk with the gelatin that we prepared earlier. So we put all of this in here and blend it well until everything is thoroughly mixed. Now I'm going to blend it and then we'll pour it into our mold here. So let's blend it first. And that's it. Very easy and quick. So now, look, I just used my hand mixer here so I don't really make too much of a mess. Here I have our crust, which has already cooled down, and we pour the mixture in here. Then we'll take it to the fridge so it sets well, and when we come back, I'll do that beautiful decoration. So hang on, I'm going to put it in the fridge to set, decorate it, and then we'll give it a try. It turned out so beautiful, but it can always look even better. So I made a sauce here with passion fruit, a bit of sweetener, water, and a little vanilla. I'll put the exact amounts down below for you, but remember that for the passion fruit sauce to turn out well, you need to strain it first to separate the pulp from the seeds, and then you add the seeds back in. Because it looks so pretty and also adds more fiber. So come here, I'm going to pour a little on top and we'll cut a slice. Look how beautiful our sauce turned out. Let's pour a little on top. You can spread it around like this to make it look really nice. And remember, this sauce is optional too. If you don't want to add it, you don't have to, but it really adds a special touch. So besides bringing even more passion fruit flavor here, it's going to be great. Look, I think that's enough, and the sauce is finished too, so that's it. I'm going to cut a piece here so you can see what the texture looks like inside. Look, I'm going to cut a really big piece here so you can get a better look at how delicious this is going to be. It's just that this crust here is tougher, so we have to go more slowly here. I'm going to cut a really big piece here. Let me see if I cut it properly here. I think so. Now let me grab the metal spatula so we can lift up this delicious treat. And look how beautiful it turns out. Just look at how delicious this is. The crunchy crust on the bottom and this cream, make it at home, everyone will love it. Look at that. Tell me down below if you're going to add the syrup or not, or if you have any other ideas for the fruit. I'd love to see your comment. Give the video a like, it helps me out, and share it with anyone who'd enjoy or need it. Let's spread this chain of kindness together. Let's give it a try. The combination of the passion fruit filling with this coconut crust is amazing, really good. Make it, you're going to love it. See you next time. Bye.